The quietest minds often hear the loudest truths. There's something different about certain men, not just in how they walk alone or reject attention, but in how they see the world. It's not always easy to explain, but if you've ever felt like you just know things before they happen or sense people's real intentions without them saying a word, then you're not imagining it. You're experiencing what many overlook: introverted intuition, the hidden engine behind the Sigma male's mind. This video dives deep into what most people miss. We're not talking about surface-level traits or trendy internet labels. We're exploring the real, often unspoken way Sigma males perceive reality. The way they can walk into a room and feel the energy shift. The way they silently notice what everyone else is too busy or too loud to see. This isn't guesswork. It's a powerful internal sense, built over time, sharpened by solitude, silence, and brutal honesty. The world is noisy, everyone's performing, reacting, proving something. But if you've ever felt that pull to step back, to observe, to study rather than speak, you're not out of place. You're wired differently. That's not weakness, that's clarity. So if you're ready to understand the part of yourself you've never been able to fully explain, watch this video. Not for hype, for understanding, for growth, for truth. You don't need to be seen by everyone. You just need to know who you really are. Let's begin. Number 1, time traveler's mind. Most people live in the now. They react to what's right in front of them, focused on today's problems and tomorrow's plans. But Sigma males are wired differently. Their minds are rarely anchored to the present moment. Instead, they move through time, constantly. This isn't about zoning out or losing focus. It's something far deeper. Their introverted intuition works like a mental time machine. At any moment, a Sigma male might be reliving a specific event from 10 years ago, not just remembering it, but reanalyzing it, decoding what really happened beneath the surface. Or they might be far into the future, mentally playing out how today's smallest decision could ripple into something massive a decade from now. This mental time jumping is subtle but constant, and it's not just random, it's strategic. Let's say a Sigma is making a decision about whether to move to a new city. He won't just weigh the pros and cons on a list. His mind will shoot backward to a time he ignored his gut and regretted it. Then it will fast forward, visualizing what life might look like in 3 years if he stays where he is. He'll feel both timelines emotionally. And from that strange, non-linear process, he'll suddenly know what to do. To outsiders, it looks like he skipped all the steps, like he just jumped to a decision without explaining how. But inside, he's traveled back and forth 100 times already. He doesn't move in a straight line. He leaps between cause and effect until what's inevitable becomes obvious. This is why Sigma males often seem calm when others are stuck. They've already seen the likely outcomes. They've already played out the scenarios. While most people are thinking about next week, the Sigma has already visited next year and decided what needs to happen now. He's not psychic. He's just ahead of the curve. Number 2, the internal lie detector. Most people can fool themselves. They convince themselves they're happy when they're not. They stay in relationships that are clearly wrong. They chase goals they don't truly care about just because it looks good on the outside. But Sigma males are wired differently. There's something in them that won't let them lie to themselves for long. Even if they try to pretend, they feel a kind of inner tension, a quiet discomfort that just won't go away. It's like a small warning light blinking in the back of their mind. Something feels off, and they can't ignore it. Maybe it's the job they thought they wanted, or the image they're projecting to fit in, or a life path that looks successful on paper but feels completely empty. Whatever it is, the Sigma picks up on it. Not always right away, but once they do, they can't unsee it. This self-awareness is both a gift and a burden. On one hand, it keeps them honest. They don't waste years pretending to be someone they're not. They don't stay in denial. But on the other hand, it can lead to frustration and even self-destruction, because once they know they're out of alignment, they have to change something. And change is never easy. Picture this. A Sigma male lands a high-paying job, lives in a nice apartment, and has the life everyone says he should want. But something feels wrong. He tries to brush it off, tells himself to be grateful, but that nagging voice grows louder. That gut feeling won't go away. Eventually, he has to face the truth. He built a life that doesn't match who he really is. This is the internal lie detector at work. It doesn't let up. It demands authenticity. It pushes the Sigma to dig deeper, to question everything, and to walk away from anything fake, no matter how shiny it looks. It's not always easy, but it's real. And in a world full of illusion, that kind of truth is rare and powerful. Number 3, the ability to dissociate from reality to reconstruct it. This one runs deep. Sigma males have a strange and powerful habit, something most people can't even relate to. They can mentally disconnect from reality, not to escape it, but to completely rebuild it in their own mind. Where others accept the world as it is, the Sigma male steps back from it, strips it down, questions every part of it, and asks the one question most are too afraid to ask: what if this is all wrong? We're talking about more than just questioning authority or rebelling against social norms. This goes deeper. Sigmas can detach from the idea of who they're supposed to be. They can look at their own identity, name, background, career, even their personality, and ask, is this really me or just who I've been told to be? That level of self-questioning is rare and intense. They look at society's rules and don't just challenge them, they mentally burn them down and examine the ashes. Why do we chase status? Why do we pretend to be fine? Why is success always tied to money? Why does everyone follow the same script? This kind of thinking takes them into isolation sometimes. It's not depression and it's not some rebellious phase. It's an internal reset, a clean slate. They tear down what doesn't make sense so they can rebuild something that does. This is also why Sigmas often change paths in life. They can walk away from something everyone else envies, a high-paying job, a stable life, a long-term relationship, because something in them just knows it was built on false ground. And instead of patching the cracks, they choose to start again, from truth, from their own foundation. It's not easy, it's lonely, but it's honest. And when the Sigma male comes back from that mental fire, he's not just different, he's clear, because he's not living in the world as it was given to him, he's living in the one he chose to create. Number 4, dreams that speak in codes. For most people, dreams are just random stories their brain throws together during sleep. Weird, confusing, sometimes funny, then quickly forgotten. But for Sigma males, dreams are something else entirely. They're not just nonsense, they're messages, symbols, codes. And if you know how to read them, they can reveal things your waking mind hasn't figured out yet. Sigmas don't take dreams at face value. They wake up and ask, why did I see that? What does that represent? Maybe they dreamed of being chased through a city they've never been to. To most, it would seem strange and pointless, but the Sigma sees a metaphor. The city could represent pressure or unfamiliar territory. Being chased could reflect a truth they've been avoiding. It's never random, it's a signal. Their subconscious mind is constantly working, even when they sleep. And because Sigmas are naturally introspective and intuitive, their dreams often carry layers of meaning. A broken clock, a locked door, an unfamiliar face, these aren't just dream fragments, they're clues. And decoding them can lead to serious self-discovery. For example, a Sigma might keep dreaming of being underwater. It could feel peaceful or terrifying. He doesn't dismiss it. He starts to wonder, am I feeling overwhelmed in real life? Am I hiding emotions too deep to reach? And sure enough, a few days later, something clicks. He realizes he's been emotionally distant in a relationship or avoiding an important decision the dream knew before he did. This ability to break down symbolic meaning doesn't come from superstition. It comes from paying attention. A Sigma doesn't ignore what his inner world is trying to say. He listens. He reflects. And sometimes those strange dreams become roadmaps that guide him toward clarity. So while others shrug off their dreams, the Sigma sees them as encrypted messages from himself to himself. And when he unlocks them, it brings truth to the surface. Number 5, cognitive echolocation. When most people listen, they hear the words, maybe the tone, maybe the emotion if it's obvious. But Sigma males listen on an entirely different level. They don't just hear what you're saying, they sense why you're saying it. It's like their mind sends out a silent ping, like sonar, and waits to feel what comes back. They pick up on shifts in your tone, your body language, the pauses between your words, and the things you're not saying. It's not magic. It's not some superhero gift. It's focus, stillness, and insane attention to detail. When someone speaks, most people are already thinking about their reply. Sigmas don't do that. They're absorbing, reading the emotional current underneath your words. Is there tension? Is there fear? Is this person being real or just trying to impress me? And more often than not, their gut response is right. Imagine someone is telling a Sigma male, yeah, everything's fine. But their voice is flat, their eyes look away, their shoulders are slightly slumped. A regular person might say, okay, cool, but the Sigma feels it immediately, something is off. That single sentence sends a dozen silent messages, and the Sigma hears them all. This ability makes Sigmas hard to fool. It also makes them excellent at navigating people's true emotions, even when those people don't fully understand themselves. They don't need a dramatic outburst to sense discomfort. They don't need someone to cry to know something's wrong. It also explains why they often pull back from people. When you can constantly feel hidden tension, manipulation, or emotional noise, it gets overwhelming. So they retreat to silence, recharge, reset their senses. This kind of deep listening isn't loud. You probably won't even notice it's happening. But trust, while you're speaking, the Sigma is scanning the emotional map underneath your words, and he's already found the truth. Number 6, unshakable gut decisions. When a Sigma male says, I just know, he's not being dramatic, he's not guessing, and he's definitely not relying on superstition. What he's doing is trusting a conclusion that didn't come from thin air. It came from deep subconscious data his brain has been quietly collecting for years. See, while other people overthink, run in circles, or poll a dozen opinions before making a move, the Sigma male does something else. He listens to the internal signal, that sharp, quiet feeling in his gut, and when it hits, it's not up for debate. That instinct is built on patterns, details he noticed but never said out loud. It's the tone in someone's voice, the way a situation feels, the micro signals that stack up over time. He might not have a spreadsheet to explain it, but he knows. And when he knows, he acts. Here's what makes it powerful and hard for others to understand. A Sigma might walk away from a deal everyone else thinks is perfect, or end a relationship that looks fine on the surface, or take a huge risk with zero obvious backup plan. People around him panic. They tell him he's being reckless or irrational, but the Sigma isn't second-guessing anything, because that gut call comes from deep processing, from thousands of quiet observations that finally click together behind the scenes. Think about it like a mental hard drive. Everyone's collecting data, but most people ignore it or let it get buried. The Sigma actually listens to it. His mind works in the background like a high-level algorithm, and when it finally delivers an answer, he trusts it completely. That kind of clarity is rare, and it makes Sigmas incredibly resilient under pressure. Because while the world hesitates, overanalyzes, or needs constant reassurance, the Sigma male moves forward without looking back. He doesn't need every detail to be visible, he just needs the signal to be true. Number 7, they understand hidden motives and are honest enough to acknowledge their own flaws and disguises. This is where the Sigma male's sixth sense cuts the deepest. It's not just about seeing through other people. Yes, he can sense fake confidence, feel hidden agendas, and recognize when someone's putting on a performance. But the real weight, the part most people could never handle, is that he also sees through himself. He can't fake it. Not for long, not to others, and definitely not to himself. While the world is busy playing roles, people pretending to be tougher, happier, more successful, more put together than they really are, the Sigma male is standing quietly in the background, watching it all unfold like a scene in a movie. He sees the cracks, the forced smiles, the unspoken insecurities behind loud behavior. He knows when someone is trying to impress, when someone is hiding pain, when someone is clinging to an identity that isn't real anymore. But here's the brutal part. He applies that same lens to himself. If he's out of alignment, if he's drifting, if he's trying to live up to a version of himself that doesn't fit anymore, he feels it deeply, and it eats at him. Most people can coast on a false identity for years. The Sigma can't. That inner pressure starts to build until he has to make a change. He has to strip it all down and start over again. This is why he often walks away from things that seem perfect from the outside. The relationship, the career, the lifestyle, if it doesn't match his truth, it starts to rot from the inside out. And he knows it before anyone else does. That level of self-honesty is not comfortable, it's raw, it's isolating, but it's also what makes him different. In a world obsessed with appearances, the Sigma male doesn't wear masks. He sees too clearly to pretend, and that clarity, even when it hurts, is what keeps him real. Number 8, the Ghostlike Observer in every setting. Sigma males have a rare ability, one that doesn't come from force or confidence or charm. It comes from silence, from presence, from choosing not to be the center of attention, but the watcher in the corner. In any setting, whether it's a workplace, a family gathering, a coffee shop, or a group conversation, they blend into the background, almost like they are not even there. But don't mistake their quiet for absence. They are fully present and they are studying everything. While others talk, posture, or compete for attention, the Sigma male is quietly assessing energy. He notices body language shifts that suggest stress or control. He senses who's trying to lead and who's pretending to. He spots the people who feel out of place and the ones who silently dominate without ever raising their voice. It's not about being sneaky. It's about understanding. He doesn't interrupt the rhythm of the space. He doesn't try to bend it. He observes it until he knows exactly how it works, and then he moves with precision. Imagine a new team forming at work. Everyone is trying to impress. Ideas fly, egos clash. The Sigma says little, maybe nothing, but he's noting every power move, every insecurity, every fake laugh. By the time he speaks, he already knows who listens, who resists, and who pretends to lead. And when he acts, it's usually something no one saw coming, but it lands with impact. This ghost-like observation isn't something learned, it's instinct. Sigmas do not need noise to feel powerful. Their strength is in what they notice when others are too busy trying to be noticed themselves. And that's their edge. While everyone else is performing, the Sigma is already ahead, quietly building an understanding no one else in the room even realizes they've missed. Number 9, his intuition gets sharper in loneliness. For most people, being alone feels like a void. Silence makes them restless, stillness makes them anxious. But for a Sigma male, solitude isn't emptiness, it's amplification. It's the moment when the noise of the world fades away and something far more powerful rises to the surface: clarity. In groups, conversations, or social noise, a Sigma can still read the room, pick up subtle cues, and observe patterns. But it's when he's alone that those observations start to connect. Alone, he isn't being pulled by other people's energy or emotions. His mental space is clean, untouched, undistracted. That's when the real work happens. This is where his intuition sharpens. It's in the quiet hours when everyone else is scrolling, drinking, or chasing comfort that the Sigma male is locked into deep thought. He goes back over a single sentence someone said and uncovers layers of meaning. He replays events and sees what no one else noticed. He projects himself forward, scanning for changes in people, in systems, in life itself, before anything obvious even begins to shift. Picture a chess player staring at the board while everyone else is laughing at the party. He's not distracted, he's already thinking 5 moves ahead. That's the Sigma in solitude, planning what no one expects, preparing for outcomes no one else is even aware of yet. And it's not just mental, it's emotional too. Alone, he sorts through his own instincts. What's real? What's ego? What's fear? That constant inner tuning makes his decisions cleaner and his intuition stronger. People might think he disappears, but he's not lost, he's calibrating. And when he steps back into the world, he moves with a kind of quiet confidence that doesn't need validation. Because while others were busy trying to be seen, he was in the shadows, seeing everything. Number 10, alienation as an advantage. Feeling like an outsider is usually seen as a weakness. People assume that if you are not part of the group, you must be lonely, lost, or missing something. But for the Sigma male, being on the outside is not a wound, it's a weapon. Sigma males don't chase social approval. They don't need to be liked to feel secure. They're not afraid to stand alone, and that gives them a huge advantage: clarity. Because they are not emotionally tied to social roles or group expectations, they can see things for what they truly are. No filters, no sugarcoating. No pressure to pretend. It's like being the only person in a room who's not caught up in the drama. While others are reacting emotionally or trying to fit in, the Sigma is observing everything: who holds power, who is faking confidence, who is hiding insecurity, who is following the herd without question. And because he has no emotional need to belong, he can study people the way an outsider studies a tribe. He watches, listens, and learns without getting pulled into the noise. Think about it. Have you ever stepped out of a group you were part of and only then realized how fake or chaotic it actually was? That's how a Sigma experiences most of life. Always a little detached, always watching. And that slight distance sharpens his perception like a blade. This is why Sigmas often notice what others miss. They're not distracted by social games or the need to please. They are free to observe with full focus, and what they see often surprises people, because while everyone else was busy performing, the Sigma was quietly collecting the truth. So if you've ever felt like you don't fully belong, do not rush to fix that. Sometimes, the ones who stand just outside the circle are the only ones who can truly see it. Number 11. Predictive pattern recognition, not mystic clairvoyance. It's pattern recognition, sharp, unconscious, and often years ahead of the curve. Sigma males are not guessing, they're calculating. And most of the time, they don't even know they're doing it. Here's how it works. While others are reacting to what's happening right now, the Sigma is quietly watching patterns form over time. He pays attention to small shifts in behavior, tone, timing, and emotion. He sees how people repeat themselves, how systems lean towards certain outcomes, and how hierarchies reveal themselves long before the power struggles become obvious. Over time, all of that data, collected quietly and almost automatically, starts to connect. To the outside world, it looks like he just knows things, like he's reading minds or seeing the future. But what's really happening is that his intuition is making predictions based on deeply embedded patterns most people never noticed. Let's say someone in a workplace suddenly gets promoted. Everyone is shocked, but the Sigma isn't. He already saw how that person was positioning themselves weeks ago. He noticed the subtle changes in how they spoke to leadership, how they distanced themselves from certain people, or how they started aligning with decision makers. While everyone else was focused on the present, the Sigma's mind was already projecting the future. That's the difference. He doesn't need things to be obvious. His brain connects long-term cause and effect without effort. And he trusts it, even when others think he's being cold or strange for seeing what they don't. So no, it's not clairvoyance, it's precision. It's the quiet genius of someone who sees the road turning long before others realize they've already missed the exit. In final words, the rarest strength is not what you show the world, it's what you quietly know without needing to explain. The Sigma male's sixth sense isn't about magic tricks or dramatic instincts. It's not flashy, it doesn't demand attention, but it's real and it's powerful. It's the quiet ability to read between the lines, to feel what others miss, and to trust the voice within when everything around you is loud and uncertain. Introverted intuition gives the Sigma male something most people never develop: deep internal clarity. While the world rushes to react, he observes. While others follow trends, he watches for patterns. And while many hide behind noise, he sharpens his truth in silence. But let's be real, this path isn't easy. Seeing too much can be isolating. Feeling the gap between who people are and who they pretend to be can feel heavy. And being brutally honest with yourself, that's the hardest part. But it's also what sets you apart. That clarity you carry, it's not a weakness, it's your edge. So if you've ever felt different, if you've ever known things without knowing why, if you felt the pull to step back, observe, and feel your way through life instead of forcing it, you're not broken, you're not lost. You're tuned into something deeper than most people even know exists. You're not here to blend in. You're here to see clearly, move silently, and act with purpose. Watch the full video. Let it sharpen what's already in you. You're not just learning about Sigma intuition, you're remembering what you've always known. This is your signal. Trust it. God bless you.